Welcome to Inside the Program, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. I'm Joe Cook, got Eric Naleen. We are just one day away. We'll have full coverage here. We'll have full coverage on InsideTexas.com, so make sure that you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And of course, make sure to subscribe to Inside Texas. That is the first link in the description for this video. The best team insight, a lot more details on what we're going over today. The best community, the best coverage. Everything you need for Texas Longhorns football, you'll find on InsideTexas.com. Join for just $1, and you also get a full year of access to The Athletic as well. No better time to sign up than right now. Get you all the way through the season, get you the best Texas Longhorns info. We'll give you a snippet of what we talked about, what you posted earlier this morning, and we're going to start with Texas confidence growing ahead of a trip to Columbus. You and I kind of joked about the concern spike or at the various stages of camp. You start finding out what could go wrong, what might go wrong, what sources may think is a weakness on the team. But here we are 24 hours out, less than 24 hours out, and Texas seems to not really have a big concern spike. And in fact, they're feeling better and better about making the trip up to the Horseshoe.
Yeah, every phone call I've had this week has helped alleviate that concern spike that you noted. That it's a phenomenon that I think we have every single year. It's like, what are we missing about this team? You start thinking about all the variables that could go wrong. Every call I've gotten this week it seems like each call has been more confident than the previous one. That's just testament to the week of practice that they've had, the level of preparation. I think there's a lot of confidence in the game plans on both sides of the ball. And then, the defense sets such a high floor for the team. And, also all our sources are very bullish on the defense, not just being good, but likely better than last year. And, some are even saying more than that, maybe a little too much, but they got to go prove it on the field. But the defense coming back, so much intact and has so much elite talent. I think that sets the high floor for the team and the program in this game. But then there's also a lot of excitement for the playmaking that Arch brings. Now they think at a minimum he can at least be a good enough bus driver to win the game. But that's not really his style. He's going to go out and make some plays. But yeah, there's just a lot of confidence. Growing confidence in the running backs, growing confidence in the wide receivers. A lot of guys having good weeks of practice. They're really excited about this.
Speaking of guys having good weeks of practice, you highlighted Ryan Wingo over on Inside Texas in your notes, and he's huge. Everybody's going to be looking at Jeremiah Smith and what he does for the Scarlet and Gray. But Ryan Wingo and him becoming more of a receiver, not just an athlete, is big for this team. And it sounds like he's put good practices together ahead of the first game.
Yeah, he's making up for lost time. Missed the first week, with his dehydration. What's interesting about this game? The bigger the game, the more our sources are, asking around and poking and prodding and getting information. Just 5 minutes ago, I got a text talking about Parker Livingston too. So the guy saw our article and said, don't forget about Parker because he's balling out. But yeah, Ryan Wingo, obviously immensely gifted. I think he's the second most talented offensive player in the program outside of Arch. He's just got to keep developing, and he's making those strides right now. Obviously, there was a little bit of growing pains last year, but also a lot of really tantalizing ability. He's putting it together more consistently. Him and Arch are doing a really good job of recognizing defensive concepts and adjusting to them. And I think he's headed for not just a big season, but a big game.
Talking about some of the guys who are going to be protecting Arch, giving him the time to make those throws, Wingo to get open, guys like Wisner and Baxter to get through an upfield. But we've heard a little bit about a lot of different things happening on the O-line. A lot of it's on the left side. What can you tell us about the left side of the offensive line as Texas gets ready to head to Columbus?
Well, I wrote about offensive line yesterday. I guess I got on it again a little tangentially today as well. There's kind of good news and bad news. They feel like they have all the talent that they need. They feel like they're just fine on talent. Cohesion and obviously depth. We talked about that a lot. But cohesion is the bigger concern. They know that's going to be tested by Ohio State. Ohio State's going to stun them a lot. But, you can predict that. And so there's ways to kind of at least prepare it to the best of your ability. If you know it's going to happen, you can kind of get ahead of it. So they feel pretty good about the offensive line. Now, Neto, speaking of text that I just got, right before I got on the video, was somebody said, hey, this guy thinks that the concerns on Neto are a little overblown. He said, yeah, he does have some assignment soundness issues, but he also makes plays too. He's a good run blocker. So, we'll see. I think there's a chance Connor Stroh could get the nod, but we're not sure. We're not confirming that. We haven't said it for sure, but there's definitely that talk out there. Trevor Gooseby, the good news there is that guy's a gamer. He's gonna play through his issue. After this game, I think they can maybe rest him if they want. But I don't have any concerns about Goosby's readiness to play. He's as hardcore of a Texas player as they have on the team. He wouldn't miss this game for the world.
Before we keep going, got to show some love to our sponsor, and that is Academy Sports and Outdoors. Some things just go better together. Burgers and fries, Friday nights and football. And now Academy Sports and Outdoors and Whataburger. For limited time, exclusive Academy and Whataburger tailgate gear is coming in hot. Fuel your pre- and post-game traditions with fan styles and game day gear that says, I tailgate like I mean it. This exclusive collaboration won't hang around long, so hurry and dig in now at Academy Sports and Outdoors, where fun cannot lose. We'll jump to the other side of the ball, talk a little bit about the secondary. This has been one of the more intriguing position battles. Have a veteran, have a freshman, and it looks like it may be a youth movement at star for Texas.
Yeah, I think Grayson Littleton's going to get the start. Anybody that's watched this show, at least once, you've heard his name because we've talked about him pretty much every single show. He's really done a great job of earning the trust of the coaches. Very hard worker, very motivated, hungry young player, wants to get on the field by any means necessary, tough kid, good speed. They're going to throw him out there. I think he's going to start, and I think Jelani McDonald's going to start at safety, and Derek Williams will be the super sub at safety behind Taff and McDonald. So I'm curious to see how it goes. Obviously, Ohio State has not just a good passing attack, but very talented wide receivers. Brandon Innes is the guy that Sark wanted. They've got talent that's going to test him. But there's a lot of trust in Littleton, a lot of faith, and man, we have heard his name more than any other freshman. We're hearing like him, like we would hear about Xavier Worthy or Byron Murphy. So the things we're hearing about him, it's going to come to fruition. Now we all need to see it. First game being thrown to the wolves, Ohio State on the road. But it sounds like he's up to the task.
Even though Littleton may get a lot of the starting action, you've talked a lot about how Jelani McDonald can play star and probably will also play star depending on what Ohio State throws out there.
Yeah, I think Jelani had like 200 and something snaps at star last year. He's repped there a lot in practice. They like different personnel packages. Jelani's a bigger kid. You can kind of have he's almost like an extra linebacker out there, but then he also moves like a cornerback at times. They'll do that. They'll mix and match their personnel depending on what Ohio State throws out on the field. They like that they can have Jelani out there and stay in nickel even against two tight end looks. Now, we'll see how much Ohio State goes in that direction. They obviously have a really talented tight end in Max Clare. I anticipate we'll see Jelani at nickel there, but I think, they're going to be in 11 personnel more often than not, and that's going to probably mean Littleton.
We've got a lot of different notes on Inside Texas, so make sure you go and check that out. But one kind of last thing to wrap it up with, and I don't want to say it's on a sour note, but do you have any lingering concerns for this team? Stuff that we may not know or stuff that just hasn't really fully revealed itself yet and, is kind of typical in college football preseasons that don't have preseason games?
Yeah, well, I'm always concerned about the unknown. That's the name of the game. You got to figure it out. There's unknowns to the coaches. They think they're going to respond well in that stadium, in that environment. But you can't know it for sure until you see it. Games are going to make things obvious that aren't going to be found out in practice. That Ohio State's going to test them in ways that they just can't test themselves. So we're going to learn a lot about this team tomorrow. I'm a little curious about the zero sum of it all on the defensive line and the offensive line. If it's to me, it's either Cole Brevard is really really good, or the O-line is maybe not up to snuff or what they're hoping for. So we're just trying to figure that out. Cole Brevard, we're going to get to see him go up against Ohio State. Obviously they lost a lot of defensive linemen, but the D linemen are good enough to test the offense. So we're going to learn a lot about them, but I'm always worried about the unknown. Recruiting, football, it doesn't matter. What do we not know? What are we going to learn about? We're going to have to adapt quick. And maybe change our opinions on some things, but Texas, it could also be possible that the Texas run game is better than we anticipated. They just had some issues at times this offseason because their counterparts on the defense are good.
That'll do it. A lot of great notes up from Eric here and on Inside Texas. So make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and of course, come join us over on InsideTexas.com. It is the first link in our description. You can join for just $1, get access to the best Texas Longhorn site, and also get a full year of access to The Athletic. No better time than right now. So come join up. Can't wait to see you. Can't wait to talk about not just this game, but all 12, maybe 13, 14, 15, 16 games this season over at Inside Texas. So, Eric, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Inside the Program, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.